table in the rolling waves, dice in our hand, we're the dungeon's brave. Adventures tonight with our mighty team, heroes we...
Tabletop role-playing game news and gift-giving ideas for the week. What's up, my nerds? It's your boy, the OG GM, coming to you pre-recorded from Site B at about 8:30 in the morning on this, a lovely November morning here at Site B. It's gorgeous. It's Monday. It's the holidays. It's time to take a look at all the tabletop role-playing game news, or lack thereof, as we spiral closer and closer to Christmas and Black Friday oblivion. The number one news story that, is this time of year is the same number one news story that is always this time of year, and that's gift-giving ideas for the role-playing fan in your life who you have no idea what to get the gift store for. And these are usually ridiculous, and these are usually things I completely and utterly disagree with. And probably at the end of this, I'm going to say the same thing I say every year. It's like, just get them the rules to a game they like, get them some dice, go to the 99-cent store and get some notebooks and some pencils and some figures, and they'll be perfectly happy. All right, so let's take a look. This one is actually specifically for miniature collectors. So this one says, what you should get for miniature collectors are these riser thingies. These riser thingies, though they do work, they are cool. They also are a little pricey for basically something you could easily duplicate by putting them on a paper cup or any other stand. But this is supposed to do like, oh, he's flying, so I'll put him over here, or whatever. Or this one's taller. I don't know. They do work. I have played with them. I have used them. They're a great idea, but I think, just go get some plastic cups at the 99-cent store. Same thing. The idea is great, but that's a lot of money for something that's really simple. The build your own figure. This is, again, remember, these are for figure collectors. So this takes the concept of the artist model figure that you see a lot of artists use, that little wood guy, and then basically incorporates it over to our hobby. And it says, here's this little figure that you can use to put your heroes in your own posy thingies. It's hard to find a 99-cent store equivalent to this. I would only recommend it for somebody who's already hardcore into design and building and stuff like that. These Dragon Easter Egg 12-pack for $20. These are pretty cool. These would be great stocking stuffers for the gamer in your life, or rewards to hand out. I definitely approve of this one because it's toys. So, I don't know. I mean, you could probably find the same thing for a little cheaper on Wish or Temu or even Amazon, but the idea is cool. And it's dragons. A thing to put your figures in. That's, yes, great idea. I do not disagree with this one. I'm finding a really good case for carrying figures. There's the wooden thing I was talking about. Finding a wooden case or a carrying case for your figures is always very hard. And yeah, that's all they recommend for figure gamers. Let's see if there's anything else. Because they're usually pretty dumb, but occasionally there's a good one. All right, here's another one. Gift ideas for the geek who has everything in your life. Here we go. Notepad. Vintage book-shaped storage box for $20. Okay, you can find book-shaped storage boxes at the 99-cent store for 99 cents. You can also find notepads at the 99-cent store or the dollar store or whatever you have for 99 cents. So really, you could buy a $20 box, or you could get a $1 box and just decorate it yourself. The figures, you will find these at Barnes and Nobles and art stores and other weird places. The same figure company that does like sharks and farm gear people and stuff. They do fantasy every now and then. Barnes and Nobles has got a couple really cool fantasy lines that look bizarre and amazing, and it's like, what is this from? So these guys you can find usually at a Barnes and Noble, sometimes at Target, sometimes at toy stores. It's kind of Hut and Peck. I think you can get them online. They're just mythological figures. They range in price from a couple bucks to $20-$30. Another good source if you're looking for miniature stuff is the pet store. and the tropical fish section of the pet store, there's some great terrain that you could use in a role-playing game. All those little things you can get at the tropical fish store to put in your tropical fish tank, like the little windmill or whatever. Those are as good, or if not better, than any piece of terrain you're going to find. And they're usually cheaper. You want a sunken ship or a treasure chest, go to the pet store, go to the tropical fish aisle of the pet store, and just look at the stuff that they have for the fish tanks, and then go, well, this is $12 here. I could go to the Games Workshop where it's $40 for the exact same thing. So yeah, that's a great place. And you can find these little guys on Amazon, of course, and Temu and Wish, but in the wild, I've seen them in some weird places. So Barnes and Noble, sometimes the toy sections of Target or Amazon or Walmart. I found them at art stores. But yeah, they're cool. So they're definitely worth it. Some of them range anywhere from $20, $10, $5, all the way up to $100. A sign language cipher wheel. You could get a sign language pamphlet like free online. So if you've really got people who want to learn sign language, there's probably a better way. Or just buy them a class in ASL at your local public college or community college. That's how I learned it. Of course, I've forgotten everything I've learned about ASL, but at least I learned it. Gaming themed planters. This one specifically from Elden Ring, but I guess, they've got other ones. Though it does look like Harry Potter. So this is a planter that's themed around a game, and I'm sure there's other ones. You could just go to the 99-cent store or any plant gardening supply store and probably find something vaguely fantasy, sci-fi themed for very little. But yeah, sure. I like the idea. Get your gamer in your life outside. Hey, go do some planting. Go dig in the dirt. It's fun. Board games. And of course, then the usual one: coasters, notebooks, dice, super special themed dice, super special themed coasters, Wizards of the Coast alcohol, Wizards of the Coast beard spray, Wizards of the Coast meat sticks. Those are all out there, of course, and they are all outrageously priced. And I, as always, will say, you could probably find the same thing at a party supply store for way cheaper. You could probably find notebooks at a dollar store for way cheaper. You could probably find all these things at art supply stores and craft stores and stuff like that, and little mom and pop dollar store knockoff stores now that the 99-cent store's gone. And it's as good or better than anything you're going to find in these gift guides for $200. It's a fucking notebook. I'm not spending $200 for a fucking notebook. I can get a notebook at, my corner store for $2.99. I can get graph paper for like $5 online. I'm not going to spend $200. So here, Billy, here's your D&D themed Halloween present. Oh, wow, some pencils, a new set of dice, and a couple notebooks. It's exactly what I wanted, Grandma. Thank you. Yeah. What else is going on in the tabletop role-playing game news this week, or last thereof? Because the normal site that I get the information from, Ian World, Daryl Mott, the individual who puts the list together every week, is sick. I'm having to do this on my own. So just to show you how much you are missed, Daryl. These come to us from Bell of Lost Souls, who's one of the better sites that do this. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about this one because it's been a while since we've seen what's going on with the Hero Quest board RPG, Stepping Stone RPG board game. I don't even know what to call these. I bring this up all the time. It's like, what do you call these? It's not a board game, but it's not a role-playing game. It's this weird little island in the middle that tries to be the best of both. It's like, I got all the rules and the stuff and the figures and the maps and the dice for a board game. I'm definitely a board game, but you've got a character sheet. You've got characters, and those characters can improve and go on different adventures, and they get gear and stuff. So that's a role-playing game. Bare bones. You could give them personas while you're playing Hero Quest if you wanted to. And I've seen plenty of people who do. So there's got to be a name, right? other than just RPG board games. Or maybe there isn't. Maybe there is no name. I don't know. Anyways, yep. Always nice to see some movement in the weird corner universe that is Hero Quest. So that's cool. We got this thing going on with Magic. We've got the brand new Restarter Foundation drop. So once again, Magic is doing a, hey, let's restart from ground zero. So if you're the one person on the planet who has never heard or played Magic, here's a brand new starter set, the Foundations. We're getting back to the foundations of Magic before we then start any new storylines. Because, you know, at this point, Magic the Gathering supplements write themselves. You know, you don't need anybody to do them anymore. Just, you know, cobble together some art, have the AI cobble together some art, change a few names. That's it. When you're out of ideas, just go back to someplace you've been before. Let's go back to Innistrad. We've only done that like 30 times. Ravenica? Sure, why not? Bring back an old mechanic like Dredge, but just change the name? Why not? So they're doing this thing. And why are they doing this thing? Why is Wizards of the Coast trying to attract so much attention to Magic the Gathering yet again and get new people on board? They're like, there's got to be one guy, right? There's got to be one guy on the planet who hasn't played. Maybe like some of those undiscovered tribes in South America and the Amazon, right? Right? They probably haven't played Magic, so let's do another restart. But more importantly is because Amazon or Netflix, one of the two, is doing a Magic the Gathering TV show. I don't know if it's going to be an animated TV show or a live action TV show. I don't know if it's going to be like a generic fantasy campaign set in the world of Magic the Gathering, or is it going to be like how Magic the Gathering cards affect the real world? Like, I don't know. Maybe they could do an animation. Yeah, okay, I got it. Here's what you do for the Magic the Gathering TV show. All right. You do this animated worlds where the kids compete in Magic the Gathering tournaments, right? Okay. And when you play the cards, they actually play out real life scenarios, you know? So like you tap your mana and you play the card, and then the game does this 3D representation of what the card does. And there's a lot of drama and action, and there's actually a possible physical price to playing certain cards and losing or winning. And there might be some overarching villain who's using the card game to manipulate events on Earth. And then one kid comes out and he's the standout because he's got a deck that's just super special. Like it belonged to his father or his grandfather. And in it, he's got cards like the only ever been. Wait a minute, that's the fucking plot to Yu-Gi-Oh! So really, a Magic the Gathering TV show is just going to be Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is based upon a card game. Card games, of course, you know, based upon Magic and Pokemon. Those were the first two collectible card games that we know of. So wouldn't that just be Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon? Gotta collect them all. Magic the Gathering. Join Jace and his friend Sarah as they trump across the world of Dominia, collecting and trading new servants to serve them in the never-ending battle of Magic the Gathering. Yeah, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! It's fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! It's gonna be Yu-Gi-Oh! And finally, in the news of tabletop role-playing game news, we have a brand new tabletop role-playing game news that isn't so new. This is Above the Table. This is a bunch of people who used to have a different home, but they've started their new homes, and they talk a lot about the big stuff. You know, you're not going to see these guys talking about obscure role-playing games, but definitely they talk a lot about Baldur's Gate 3. They talk a lot about Wizards of the Coast. They talk a lot about Daggerheart. They talk a lot about Critical Role. If you ever want to know what's going on with Critical Role and you're not up to date, just go to Above the Table and check them out. So it's nice to see a new site doing what I've been doing for 10 years. I did it first. And they used to have a different name. And now they've changed to Above the Table. I don't know why. I don't begin to speculate why they used to be something else, but they did a thing, and now they're doing a new thing. And if you're curious of what's going on in the world of Dragonlance or Baldur's Gate 3 or Critical Role or Daggerheart or any of the big boys, this is a good place to start. Usually still I go to EN World first and then the other sites secondary. Ian World's news, of course, being down because Daryl Mott, the guy who collects the news for us every week, is MIA. He's sick. Get well, Daryl, because I cannot do your job for you. I don't know how you find the stories, dude. I assume they send them to you or whatever, because I'm lost without you, doing this every Monday. It's like my coffee. I look forward to doing this every Monday and reading his articles. So get well soon, Daryl. So what's the standout story this week, I guess, is Wizards of the Coast being Wizards of the Coast with Magic the Gathering, the TV show. And, oh no, I think the Critical Role Campaign 3 is finally coming to an end. Wasn't it supposed to be coming to an end last year? Yes, I know, but then they had the spin-offs and the subgenres, and now they're back to finishing off Campaign 3, but they're also brought back Vox Machina. So they're doing this Vox Machina return game. They're doing this, I don't even know. I've completely lost track again of what's going on with Critical Role. All I know is Campaign 3 is still dredging on like a year longer than anybody expected. But I assume it's still got fans based upon what I'm reading and seeing here. And of course, again, we're just waiting for the Daggerheart news. Is Campaign 4 going to be set in Daggerheart? And we did get a possible hint on that. We know that at least one of the games that they're doing during their anniversary world tour is going to be taking the Critical Role characters and running them through a scenario using the Daggerheart rules. So instead of Scanlan having his 18th level Bard abilities, he'll have the little Daggerheart card abilities that he can use. It'll be interesting to see how the D&D characters mechanics convert to the Daggerheart card-based mechanic. And then maybe that'll be a sign that, hey, Campaign 4 could be Daggerheart. You should be. Doesn't it feel like they should be pushing Daggerheart more than it does? It kind of feels like they've already dropped Daggerheart. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just sort of feels like they've already abandoned it. They don't really talk about it that much. I'd be talking about it every week. I mean, I talk about my stuff every week, at least, casually mention that I have stuff that you should buy every week. But it's like, yeah, Daggerheart. Yeah, it was a thing we did last year. I don't know. Yeah, it's just, yeah. So either they're holding it close to the chest because they're waiting for next year and the big Daggerheart excitement, or they already are feeling maybe it was a failure and they kind of just want to, much like Candle Obscura, just sort of brush it to the side and hope we forget about it in a year. I hope not. I say this all the time, but it is really in their best interest to drop their connection with Wizards of the Coast once and for all. Cut that umbilical cord and become completely independent and make everything they make 100% theirs with complete control over the IP. So all that Critical Role money is 100% theirs. Campaign 4 is Daggerheart. Everything they do is based around Vox Machina or Mighty Nine or Bell's Hells, that it's theirs. Wizards of the Coast doesn't have any chunk of it anymore. Matt and Marissa and Travis and those guys can do whatever they want with it. And Wizards can't go, Really, Wizards should be focusing on how can they milk Stranger Things, since it's the last season of Stranger Things. And that's, for most people, their main connection to Dungeons and Dragons, right? Is Stranger Things. And if their Stranger Things is ending, the Wizards of the Coast needs to be thinking of ways to milk that connection between D&D and Stranger Things and use it as a way to maybe get some good press back after the past 2 years. So I really don't think they should be focusing on Critical Role anymore. Let Critical Role go off and be their own thing. Focus on the D&D for 2025. Focus on this is the last season of Stranger Things, and then move forward, which whatever the next thing is for Wizards is going to be, which is trying to convince people to use their piece of crap VTT. Yeah, well, that's the stories for this week. We those are the things we've taken out our maps, we've opened up our teehee sextant, and we've stocked our course through the turbulent waters as it is the end of the year tabletop role-playing game community. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining me every Monday for this project. I hope it's worth your time and effort. Till next time,